Reddit parents, what's the weirdest lie you tell your child? Ren? As a child, I used to have the worst luck. Whenever my sister and I would have Fruit Loops, she only got a couple brown ones, and almost my whole bowl was brown Fruit Loops. The first time I poured my own Fruit Loops, I actually considered that God might be real, and that he might be trying to reward me for something. I didn't get a single brown Fruit Loop. When I told my mom, she admitted there was no such thing as brown Fruit Loops and that she had been giving me bowls of Cheerios because I'm diabetic. That's kind of cute. Actually, at least Cheerios freaking rock. My parents told me I was allergic to sugar and would die if I ate it. They even went and brought alternative snacks to my school teachers like carrot sticks and peanuts for them to stock up for me and hand out when the other kids got birthday cupcakes. Not the worst thing they could have done to me, but it sucked. I totally believed them until I went to visit my aunt and realized that ice cream and M&Ms were freaking amazing. But the weirdest thing was that until the 5th grade I believed in the Halloween fairy. I still got to dress up in a costume and go trick-or-treating for hours, but at the end of the night I would leave my bag of candy outside my bedroom door, and overnight the fairy would take it and leave me a new bag full of crackers and fruit snacks and other treats while in reality my parents just ate all my candy. Your parents blow. I dated a dude once who didn't find out until he was a teenager that you can actually eat more than one marshmallow a day. His parents told him that if you ate more than one they would expand in your stomach and kill you. I think he ate a lot of marshmallows after that. My friend was trying to get a headstrong 3-year-old to eat his lima beans and he was not having it, so having recently seen the Avengers, she says they're called Hulk beans and will make him really strong. He gobbles them down and gets this amazed look on his face and says, "They did make me strong." Look, he then proceeds to pull down his pants and he has a full-on toddler boner. I was not expecting that ending. My friend's parents told him there was a big beautiful fish that lived behind the bathroom mirror, and if he used too much water, it would die. PBS implied to me that if I used water while brushing my teeth, a fish would quickly die from its pond emptying. My mother referred to beer as mommy soda. She is an alcoholic. I never wondered about the alcohol, but when my dad threw up, my parents always said he'd eaten a bad pie. We have a 2-year-old. When my wife is desperate for him to leave something alone she tells him there's a spider on it. Not all that weird but kinda mean, but better than him breaking something expensive or burning himself. You can't reason with a 2-year-old. My 2.5-year son actually does this to me. He knows I'm terrified of spiders. Mommy don't touch my new toy. There's a spider on it. If you don't finish your dinner, Buzz Lightyear will die. It isn't really a lie, but my friend said that when he was a kid, his parents covered his food in M&Ms so he would eat it all. My mom would tell me that when I told a lie, a little black dot appeared on my tongue. So whenever she wanted me or my sister to fess up to something, she would tell us to hold out our tongues. Whoever didn't was the liar. After we were old enough to realize that was a bunch of stale bologna, she told us there was a man who she worked with, who had this special syrup that he would use on shoplifters, to see if they were telling the truth or not. Think Veritaserum from Harry Potter. Needless to say, she had me fooled for a long time. I work with autistic behavioral kids, and one of the mothers of an ADHD kid tells him a blue dot appears on his forehead when he lies. Whenever he lies, he looks up, as if to see if the dot is forming on his forehead. It cracks me up every time. If you don't clean your room, I'll sell you to the gypsies. One day my mom, little sister, and her best friend were in the kitchen. Best friend says that her mom used to say this to her all the time when she acted up. Little sister looks to our mom and says, "Mom, you never said that to us." Mom replies, without skipping a beat, "Because we are the gypsies." For the longest time, I had my daughter convinced that McDonald's hash browns were made from peacocks. The best lies to tell your children are the most ridiculous. I'm not a parent, but this is my favorite lie my dad told me and my sister. I'm not exactly sure why he told us this lie, but I think it was because his loading bench was in the garage and he didn't want us going down there unsupervised. My dad told my sister and I that a huge, fat woman named Elizabeth lived in our garage and would eat us if we went down there. To make it even more terrifying, He would leave the door from the house to the garage open and bang on stuff and scream that Elizabeth had gotten him. It was traumatizing. We'd sit at the top of the stairs crying. I bet he was laughing so hard when he did that XD. My daughter was afraid of monsters at night, like all kids. So I gave her a potato masher and told her it was a magic stick that keeps monsters away if she sleeps with it by her pillow. When I was a kid I was really interested in dinosaurs, but also afraid of them. I would have trouble going to sleep because I was worried that one might just appear and eat me. Even though I knew about extinction, my mom convinced me that the asteroid theory had been questioned, and the next likely theory was that they had been an explosion of liquid vanilla that killed them all off. She proceeded to fill a spray bottle with vanilla extract and put it in my room, and taught me to spray it in each of the corners of my room before I went to bed, saying, north, south, east, and west, dinosaurs, take a rest. I believed that this was the only thing keeping me safe for quite a while. Dinosaurs hate vanilla extract because of that one time they had it straight out of the bottle. They thought it would taste good. Whenever my cousin accidentally swears in front of her young kids, she blames it on her time as a pirate. It's the best excuse ever. Oh Jesus, I am totally stealing this one. I had my first Dairy Queen dilly bar in South Dakota while visiting relatives. I became a fiend. For years my parents insisted that Dairy Queens only exist in South Dakota. Whenever we went there I would beg endlessly until I got my dilly bar fix. One day, despite my mother's efforts to steer me away, we drove past a Dairy Queen in my hometown. I went freaking bonkers. Although to my parents' luck I calmed down after a couple weeks. The allure of Eden fades when it's sitting in your backyard. One summer I fell in love with Twix and would eat at least 3 a day. Then one day, I couldn't look at another twice. Still can't remember the last time I ate one. I used to have a problem when I was 3 where I would pee in the tub. My mom was so upset that she told me if you keep doing this you'll turn blue. I did it one more time after that and she slipped blue food coloring in. I never did it again, not even in the pool. The absolute worst part was that it was so real to me that while I was 10-12 years old I would still tell people if you pee in the tub enough times you'll turn blue. I was my town's Ralph Wiggum. This is actually genius. I told one of my daughters at the small deposit slot in front of the walled glass cashier desks at the bank is the employee's door. It's maybe 30x50 cms. That's awesome. My ex's parents told him when he was little that if he didn't eat his vegetables he'd get hangnails. Fast forward to us sitting around the dinner table with his parents one night. Him, now 18 years old. I've been getting a lot of hangnails recently, probably because I haven't been eating healthy enough. Us. Stop eating and look at him with inquisitive looks. His parents, you still believe that? I think there is a bit of truth to that actually, since a lot of nail and skin problems are associated with vitamin deficiencies, which can be caused by not eating healthily. This was not me but a rather nice southern grandmother at the Nashville Zoo. While I waited at the sinks in the public bathroom for my 7-year-old, this nice grandmother was also waiting for her 3 or 4-year-old granddaughter. The nice grandmother asked her granddaughter, in a perfect drawl, "Did ya clean yourself?" The girl answers yes. Grandmother corrects her, "Yes mom, and good because if ya don't wipe, them flies are gonna eat ya." That's right, them flies gonna eat ya. TL. DR. Grandma tells granddaughter flies will eat her if she doesn't wipe. After I would lose a tooth, my mom would tell me that if I didn't stick my tongue in the gap, a gold tooth would grow. I'd try so hard to keep my tongue away from that gap. Why the heck did I even want a gold tooth anyway? Because it's worth more than a quarter from the tooth fairy. Sheep are woolly pigs. Sheep are naughty clouds which were being punished by making them heavy. Worked for about 3 years, that one. And pigs are midget hippos. This was my niece when she was learning to talk, but I had her absolutely convinced for the better part of a year that a fish goes moo and she just couldn't hear it because it was underwater. Every evening as we were going to bed, my dad would read to us until we fell asleep. But if we got quiet and he started to get up while we were still conscious, we'd fully wake up and he'd have another half hour of reading to do. So he started testing to see if we were really asleep by making up ridiculous additions to the story, often culminating in the gleefully insane deaths of all the characters. If we didn't say anything after Robin Hood was eaten by a dinosaur, he knew it was safe to stop. Not a lie I've told, I don't have children yet. My mom told me that I could no longer be a Girl Scout because it would eventually turn me into a lesbian. I was only a brownie at the time, for God's sake. My mom wouldn't let me be a brownie because she got kicked out for cussing when she was in it. A fart is two turds whispering to each other. I tell my daughter a fart is poop yelling to get out. I killed their real parents and the court sentenced me to raise them. My parents used to tell me that they were going to take me back to the shop and get a refund. Ha, bet they regret not doing that now. Got my daughter to eat tomatoes by calling them Pepsi Toms, cause the juice is used to make cola. Told my boys that the BT Tower is Big Terry, the friendly robot who protects London from flying saucers, for no reason other than because. My mom told me if I faked sick, a black hole would start to form inside of me until I actually did get really sick. When she used a cup to rinse the shampoo out of my hair in the bath, I always got soap in my eyes and was such a drama queen about it. So my mom told me birds lived in the bathroom ceiling above the bath, and when the water was over my eyes, they came out because they knew I couldn't see. So she would have me look up at the ceiling with my head all the way back to spot the birds while she got the soap out of my hair without getting it in my eyes. She would also tweet, "My son hates having his hair washed. I am going to try that tomorrow." My parents didn't change the digital clocks for daylight savings time, so that 6 months out of the year I went to bed an hour earlier than my bedtime. Oh, I am SOOO doing this. Eat your macaroni. That's how the Power Ranger became the Power Rangers, by eating plenty of macaroni. When my son was around 12, he asked me what the MA and the TVMA parental rating label meant. I told him it meant you had to ask your ma if you could watch it. It worked for a little while. When the ice cream truck plays music, it means they are out of ice cream. My mom told me it was the music truck. I had no idea there was ever any ice cream. A creepy obese man sneaks into our house on 12/24 and leaves them toys and crap. I shudder at the thought. I tell them this anthropomorphic rabbit thing too, but it's a bit less creepy. The animal on your plate died of happiness. We had lamb one Easter when I was a kid. I just made the connection that we were not eating a full-grown sheep, but instead a baby sheep, hence the name lamb. I spoke up to confirm this with my parents, and they told me that they only kill brain-dead lambs that won't survive anyway. I completely bought it and continued to happily eat my brain-dead lamb ribs. Anyone else in here simply looking for good ideas? Me. I told my Neopet I'd love her forever. It's not too late. You can go back. You can assimilate. You can join our Neopets. Growing up, we lived near a crematorium. We were driving past one day and asked in curiosity, "What's that building?" Dad, only to be told it was Barbecues Galore, a BBQ shop here in Australia. We of course believed him and for years were convinced that it was BBQs galore. To this day, as 30, 32, and 36-year-olds, my siblings and I still refer to crematoriums as BBQs galore. If you eat watermelon seeds, watermelons will grow in your stomach. Daycare started this. One night my 2.5-year-old started screaming about a shoe monkey was going to take his favorite Thomas the Train shoes. I was like, WTF is a shoe monkey? I called my mom who had watched him the weekend before. She never heard of it. I checked Netflix and recent books and we HD not watched anything with it. So I asked daycare the next day and they laughed because they had told the class that to get kids to stop losing their shoes, but oh no, my son believed it. They asked if they should stop telling it and I said no. Go ahead and tell it now, I know. So that night I told my son shoe monkeys are afraid of dinosaurs. And we acted like dinosaurs all around the house to scare the shoe monkey away. No more screaming. The next afternoon daycare asked me, why does my son keep roaring at everyone, and explained he roars when he is afraid to scare the shoe monkey. Every now and then he lets out a random roar and I ask him, you get the show monkey? He says yes. Thomas the Train. It's Thomas the Tank Engine, and don't you forget it. Pretty basic, but when I was little my dad was drinking some Coke, and I asked for a sip. He told me that I had tried it before, and hated it, which was, of course, not true. I had never tried soda before, but I believed him and went on refusing soda everywhere I went. What I know, I still hate soda to this day. I've never had more than a few sips. I've noticed most kids that don't drink soda as a kid, less than 10, don't ever like soda. Not my kid, but I knew this girl who was scared of something in the closet. I told her that there is nothing in the closet. Santa had come from the North Pole and beat him up. I am usually very honest with my small kids. That said, I told them a lie recently to ensure they quietly and happily get in the car because a rather vicious looking man was approaching us. I told them that I would bake them a cake when we got home. They were delighted. After we were safely away, I told them that I lied because I needed to get them away from a dangerous situation. I told them I would be happy to make them a cake in a few days when I gather the ingredients. Freckles are butterfly poop. Mine were angel kisses. Don't bite your nails, they cut your stomach open if you swallow them. Worst story ever. I wish my parents told me that lie. Maybe I would have pretty nails. My husband tells my daughter there are clowns in the sewer drains. She stays clear. We all float down here. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.